We're live. Hi, everybody.
Good morning,
Welcome.
Sarah.
Our YouTube group is in the house. Some of you have been here for a while.
Oh wow! Hello, everyone.
Yeah,
There's a whole party happening over on YouTube.
I know.
Colleen says,
Our
"You guys
YouTube
ready for the
crews.
dynamic duo?"
So that's.
Aw.
I
Hey,
love
y'all.
it. Hi, everybody. Hi, Peggy. Hi, Lorena. Hi, Colleen.
Why did I not make myself a giant cup of coffee for this?
I don't know.
I want to be sipping coffee this whole time. Next time, giant tumbler of coffee.
Hi, Brooke. Hi, Lisa. Facebook's finally in the house. It always takes Facebook a minute. Whoa.
Kathy's confirmed we're live.
That's weird. All right. So, hi, everybody. Welcome in. I'm here. You know me. Sam's here. You know him too. Kathy's over here working on kits. And yeah, we've got some fun stuff to do today. Sam sent me some beads and they literally just got here.
I don't know how, because they went out priority mail mid last week, which is supposed to take 2 days.
Well, I know. And when I looked at the tracking, they've been sitting in town for a while. It's just I don't know, something happened here and they just didn't get delivered, but they're here now and all good.
I'm glad, because I had that nervousness. I was she's not going to get them. They're going to come right afterwards. So we're just going to be chit-chatting.
We would have had fun anyway. We would have had fun regardless.
Are you wearing the earrings from last week's live?
I am. I'm kind of obsessed with them.
They're really great.
Thank you. I don't know. They look so different on than they do hanging. Mm-hmm. And and also, okay, so let me just be a little bit truthful here. I have packed up all of my jewelry.
Okay.
My personal jewelry.
Yeah.
So I only have 3 pairs of earrings that are in rotation right now because everything else is packed. So this is one of the 3 pairs that I have, and it just happens to be the favorite of the 3. So I've been wearing them a lot. But yeah.
I haven't tried that design yet. I was watching a little bit of that live. I was like, that's a great. I don't know. I just haven't watched the whole thing, so I don't know how it all comes together because it looks complicated. You're no, it's not that hard.
No, not complicated at all. Super easy to do. And I love that. I like it when because when you came onto the live, I remember you were like, oh, this looks like a hardwired project.
Yeah.
And I was like, but it's not. It's super, super easy. And yeah, it's a good one. It makes a great pendant because not everybody, but a lot of people don't like the big, huge earrings, but they're easier for me to teach because you can see them really well. So if I make a big design, I always let everybody know that you can size it down, but it's easier if I go big for visual purposes. But if you want to keep it big, but you don't like the earrings, it makes a great necklace because you can hang a tassel from the bottom. You could really kind of get crazy with it. You could do I think a chain tassel and some sparkly beads with it would be really, really awesome.
It's a beautiful focal component.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. So Sam, tell everybody who you are just in case somebody doesn't know. If you don't know, it's about time you find out. So
hi everyone. In case you don't know me, I'm Sam. I run Sam's Bead Shop, which is a fun little corner of the beading world that I'm so happy has collided with Sarah over the last year now.
Yeah.
And so you might have heard of Sam's Bead Box. It's one thing we do. Actually, it's March 8th, Sarah. So tomorrow's the last day for folks if they want to sign up.
Oh, wow.
The March anniversary box. We did a little extra special for March. I think we have a couple dozen slots that we opened up left. So if you want one of those, that's samsbeadbox.com. I'm sure one of your lovely folks or Jesse can drop the link in the comments. Sarah has a code. You can get $5 off your box. And then I don't know. We try to keep it fun at Sam's Bead Shop. We do 2 live sales where we just chit chat about how much we love beads, and we do a class each week. and we have a group, and I don't know, we just like to have like it's community is always going to be at the end of the day like what is most important for me and like with the shop. Like I love how Wanda said one time, it's like it is a community and one person happens to have a bead shop, and like that has stuck with me. I literally put that on the website, Wanda. I was like, that is correct. That is exactly what I've always felt.
Yeah.
Like I just get to be buddies with really cool, talented people, and then also get to help find beads to help inspire their designs. That makes me happy.
Yeah. Well said, Wanda. That was perfect. That's such a great way to look at it.
You got to keep Wanda around.
Yeah, definitely.
Wanda keeps things interesting. Oh, Wanda's in the comments. Hi, Wanda.
Hi, Wanda. All right. So Sam sent me some beads, right? And like I said, I am just like, I just took them out of the box right before we went live. And I'm going to show them to everybody. We're going to do like some design on the fly because I didn't really plan anything. But Sam did mention to me last night that there are buttons involved in this box. And it's been a while since I've turned a button into something other than a button, right? To use as like a clasp. Yeah. So I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to do that because it's been a while. I don't know if you guys remember, but I used to work for a button company, and so I used to turn buttons into jewelry all the time. So I'm anxious to see if I can do the same thing with these buttons because these buttons are amazing.
Amazing. I'll tell you all about them once you start. I can tell
yes. So I'm going to turn us around, and then I will adjust so Sam likes to be small. I don't know why, but
this is too big.
There we go.
I would also be fine being gone.
No.
Off camera, just voice.
All right, so let's start here.
Okay,
there we go. Oh, thank you, Anita. All right, Sam, what we got?
I was trying to. Yeah, those are on the website. A bunch of there's just the first up is our Chevron Amethyst. This is some like random. Rachel and I have been finding this have been going to warehouses and working with some of the Tucson vendors to get some of their older stock items. Get some more like interesting shapes that aren't done as much anymore. So here's one example.
These are gorgeous.
They look like they're likely a hand cut amethyst, and they're nice. I grab them because they're nice and chunky. They got purple, they got quartz mixed into it. I just thought they were really fun.
Yeah, they're really, really awesome.
Like even though they're not like a high grade amethyst, I thought there's something that you could really design around because of the shape and the textures of them.
Absolutely.
Color. So that's like the one item you have here that actually is on the website right now. Everything else is brand new that Sarah's gonna.
Oh, that's fun.
Play with, and I think Jess and I have it planned that we were gonna have it on the website for this moment, but it's been a busy week, so we'll have it as part of our live sale tonight in case anyone wants any of these beautiful beads that Sarah has. These are our crown shape, our crown cut.
So cool.
I think it's like a vintage check glass design that's been brought back. More recently, once they figured out how to literally how to cut them again once they press it. And they're big. They're like a 15 millimeter bead, so you can use those as a focal as well.
Yeah, they're super cool, and they are much, much larger than what I thought they were in the picture.
Yeah, they're a focal type bead, and
they're awesome.
These are transparent glass, they're a beautiful. How would you describe that color, Sarah?
Well, it's like amethyst, but then it has this gorgeous coppery kind of what do you even call that?
Yeah, it's like a copper luster finish.
A luster. That's what I was looking for. But yeah.
I just thought that color was really pretty.
Yeah, so it really is beautiful. So pretty. I love these. I love this shape. I think these are so fun. I love these in all colors.
Yeah, you might recognize those from I think we did in the January box, had those in another color, and I was like, this is a great shape.
Yeah, they're so cool. And they, for whatever reason, they give me circus vibes. And I don't know. if you know, but I am obsessed with circus stuff. Like my downstairs is tons of circus stuff. And so that's what this reminds me of. I don't know why, because like the alternative would be like a hot air balloon, but for whatever reason, it kind of gives me that circus tent kind of feeling to it. And I love it.
Wait,
love that shape.
Kind of an example of a circus thing that's downstairs?
An example?
Yeah, like if you have one of those, do you have like a giant like ball that you're walking around on? Or...
No. I have vintage circus artwork. That's all I mean. Like I don't have like a, you know, a three. There's an elephant down there and a seal that, you know, I'm just kidding. But no, lots of vintage circus artwork and clowns. I have lots of clowns in like black and white photographs of clowns that.
God, I thought you were juggling downstairs.
Hey, I do have juggling balls, and I have hoops, and yeah, because like in a perfect world, I would be in the circus. Like I would. That's what I would do. But I have to live in the real world, unfortunately. So.
Nicole said a root beer float. Yes, please.
So these are beautiful.
We got some little, I think we're calling this like a little primrose flower.
They're so pretty. And they have that luster again, that just so pretty.
I think I thought these were like more purpley pink when I like picked them out for you. And now that like when I saw them, I was like, oh, these are fully orange.
Yeah, but it's a good orange.
Mix them in to this design. Would not be offended if you want to mix into a different palette.
No, I think they work. I think they work because it's like the same. The orange of these is almost like the luster on these, so it works. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think they're so pretty. And then we have these drops.
I really wanted to send you something top drilled because I know you have lots of techniques with top drilled. So these were a must on my list.
Yeah, I love these. Love. They're so pretty. You need my ruler. Oh, Kathy requests 11. Sending over. There you go.
Is Kathy beating? Oh, is Kathy making kits?
She's making kits. Okay, and then I saved these for last just because these are so freaking awesome. Oh, I love them so much. They're so pretty. And check it out, y'all. They're a button.
I've never seen these before. Aren't they amazing?
Yeah, they're so pretty. They're so pretty.
So as far as I've been able to gather, there were like 3 main people in the Czech Republic who made glass buttons.
Yeah.
And one of them closed in the 90s. And so I think there's one main person who did like a big buyout of like all of her remaining stock and has kind of just has had it and been selling it. He showed me those leaves and I fell in love and I bought the whole collection of them.
Oh, wow.
Every color, all of them. I was obsessed. So these are going to be a Sam's Bead Shop specialty over the coming months where I get to show all the cool colors I have these leaves in. And I picked out like one of my favorites to send you.
I love them. They're so pretty.
I think they could be beautiful clasps. I think we could
really
excited to turn them into like focals, earrings, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
They are fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. So I want to start with these. I think that's where I want to begin. So I'm going to move everything else out of the way a little bit. Now it's been a while since I've done this with the button. So if I get it wrong the first time around, everybody's just going to have to bear with me.
I've been trying to experiment with buttons lately, so I'm very curious to see how you approach them because I have a hard time getting them to lay nicely, especially for earrings.
Yep. So in order to do that, use a piece of wire. So I cut a piece of 20 gauge wire, just a little bit chunkier than what I normally use. I'm going to thread that through the hole on the back. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is going to bring that up. So I'm going to crisscross these wires, right? But I want to pull this down really, really tight up against the shank of the button. Okay. And I'm going to leave one of them coming straight up. The other one, I'm going to go around the shank. And I'm going as close to that shank as I can possibly get. Okay.
And you're securing it.
Yeah. And now I'm gonna wire wrap it like a briolette, but I'm actually gonna kind of pull it away. So here's what it looks like so I've just taken the wire and then wrapped it all the way around, right? And then I'm gonna wrap this like a briolette. So I'm gonna take this wire. What are the dogs doing?
I'm gonna go see.
Oh my goodness. Oh, he might have lost his bone. So just wire wrapping. And I want to wire wrap all the way up to the edge of the bead. The edge, it's not a bead, the edge of the button. Okay. So I want those wire wraps to come up right to the edge, right? So that those are actually on the back. So when you look at it from the front, all you see is just this wire coming out the top. Okay. The problem is see, there's a lot of wiggle here. And normally wiggle is a good thing, but for a button, because you want it to hang flat, wiggle is not a good thing. So I'm going to trim off this excess. Okay. And now I'm going to use my pliers, and you can use your nylon jaw pliers if you want to. I'm going to just use my regular pliers, and I'm going to do a couple of things very gently. I want to push the wire up against the surface of the button. Then I want to squeeze on either side. And I'm just squeezing the wire. And see how I'm closing it in as close to that shank as I can get it?
Kind of flush there with the shank.
So the tighter I can get it up against that shank, then the less movement I have.
Oh.
Now it's going to hang, right? So if I want to,
that's incredible.
Pop a bead up there, because I want to be sure that I have a wire to attach it to something with, right? Doesn't really do me any good if I don't leave myself extra wire to play with.
So did you say leave yourself?
Yeah. So leave yourself as much wire. You're so silly. You're so punny.
I'll be here all day,
yourself some wire. But you can also do this on the bottom as well. So the shank is big enough. Let me show you. Okay. The shank on this button is big enough that I can actually do the exact same thing and come down this way so that I can hang dangles from it as well. Okay. So if I take another piece of wire and do the exact same thing just down here. So I'm going to turn it around this way. Okay. You can see there's plenty of room in that shank for me to take another piece of wire. We're just going to repeat this process. So I'm going to take the wires, I'm crossing them, and I want to bring that down as close to the shank as possible. Okay. Leave one wire nice and long. And then
everyone else hears it too, right?
And then the other wire, now you can either go behind what you've already done or in front of. It doesn't make any difference, but you still want to bring it all the way around the shank and meet it right back up with the wire. Okay. And then again, wire wrap around. And it's tricky just because you're working in a small space, between, because it's not like, it's sort of like you're wire wrapping up against a wall here because you've got the back of your button. But wire wrap and get as close to the edge of the button as you can. If you can't get all the way up to it, that's okay. Okay, I'm running out of wire here, so I'm just going to go ahead and trim it. It's pretty close. Okay, but now you want to do the same thing, okay? And you got to be really, really gentle because you don't want to scratch up the front of your button, but again, push it down against the surface as much as you can. And then again, you're going to squeeze.
Yeah, this might be a nice like moment for like even like a tool magic.
Yeah, for sure.
Something a little bit softer on the, because it's a glass button. It's going to break if you put pressure on it.
Ruth says, what gauge would you suggest? Well, I'm using 20 because that's just what I have. 22 is actually what I prefer because it's a little less chunky.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now check it out. Because I squeezed, that's not going anywhere.
Whoa.
But I've got wire coming out the top and wire coming out the bottom. So I can put beads here. I can do loops. I can do whatever I need to do. And my button has become my focal.
Yeah. Oh my God. Excuse me. Oh my gosh.
So let's go ahead. Let's make a loop down here, right? Let's utilize it because I'm going to do a wrapped loop. So I'm going to take my pliers. I'm going to put them kind of close to the flush edge there of our button. Okay. I'm going to come in with my round nose pliers and I'm going to do my loop. Okay. And now I'm going to wire wrap, and I want to wrap, if I can, to meet up with those wraps. If I can't, that's okay. Because again, all of this is on the back, right? You don't see any of the wire work. I want it to be clean just in case somebody sees it. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, it's all back here to the back. And so if it's not perfect, that's okay.
Sarah, I think you're really crazy inspiring folks in the comments.
I hope so. I hope so. It's been a while since I've done a button, so I'm hoping that they can look at their buttons in a new way. Wanda used to say, speaking of Wanda, that I taught her that buttons are beads. Buttons are actually beads, and they totally can be. So now we have a loop at the bottom of it, right?
Wow. I have been struggling with buttons, Sarah, because I was just doing like this more simple technique where you put a jump ring, 2 jump rings, one going either way, but you don't get almost any control about exactly how the button's laying.
Exactly. When you put the jump rings, and the jump rings work, but if you're going to make an earring out of it, for whatever reason, the button tends to kind of hang like this.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's heavy. And so it falls forward and the jump rings come up, and it's fine, but you don't, when you're looking at it straight on, you're looking at the button at an angle. You don't get to see that beautiful front, a beautiful front view of whatever's happening on the top of the button. So the jump rings will work, but if you really want it to be sturdy and straight, this is definitely the way to go.
Yeah, that's a great technique.
Yeah. So let's do the other one just so that people can see it again, because it's definitely worth seeing a couple of times.
Yeah. Do you find this adapts well to different types of shanks on buttons?
Yeah. So
lots of different varieties.
Yeah.
This is like our most standard one, maybe.
I feel like this one's actually, this shank is a little thin. So what I've used in the past is kind of a wider shank.
Okay.
The wider the shank, the less squeezing you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have to squeeze really, really tight and get that wire as close as you can to this, but it works exactly the same way. And as far as the technique is concerned, it's the same.
Yeah, actually, that's good to know, because there are a lot of check glass buttons that have the shank is also glass itself, and often is bigger because it's glass.
Yeah. Whereas, and with those, when it's made out of something like glass, you do want to be extra, extra careful, when you're squeezing, for sure. Okay. So I'm going to use a little bit thinner wire. This time I got a piece of 22, and we're going to start out the same way. So I'm going to take that wire and I'm just threading it through the shank of the button. And I'm going to take the 2 wires, crisscross them up here, and then bring that crisscross. I mean, you really want to get as close as you possibly can. Okay. One of the wires needs to stay upwards. The other wire needs to loop around the entire shank, right up against it, as close as you can get it. Okay. And then back up here to your wire. And then you want to wrap around that wire just to secure.
How did you come up with this?
Well, when I worked for the button people, I needed to find a way. I mean, I needed to find a way to make a button hang like a focal. And so I just played around with the wire to see what would work. And this was the easiest out of all the things that I tried. Okay, so now
like clamp onto the your own little clamp onto the shank.
Yeah. So squeeze, 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 really, really tight. And the tighter you squeeze, the less wiggle there is. See, there's no wiggle there at all.
Debbie, these buttons are like a brand new thing in the shop. Sarah's the first one to have them. So we're going to have our first few colors of them on our live sale tonight, which is on the Sam's Bead Shop Facebook page, in case you want to check that out. I think Colleen posted at some point the link to my text list, maybe Jesse can, in case you want to get a little reminder later. That is so secure. That is so satisfying, Sarah.
Yeah. It's like, really, really tight. And it's, like I said, it's not going anywhere. So it's not falling away from the button. And the reason is because we've squeezed it so tightly up against the shank. If you can't squeeze tightly, it's going to wiggle. It's going to be like those jump rings and it's going to make your button fall forward. But if you can squeeze it tight enough, you can really kind of cinch it down and you don't have any wiggle there. So then you just want to come in and you can do a simple loop if you want to. You can pop some beads down on there if you want to. Or you can just go in with a wrapped loop, which is what I'm going to do. And it gives me an opportunity to attach it to something else or to have something else attached to it. And you can see how I try to get the wire wraps just to meet up with each other so that it is as clean as possible back here. And again, it's not going to be perfectly clean because, I mean, that is where the work happens. But you can get it to the point where you're okay with it if somebody sees it. You know what I mean? Like it
looks great to me.
I mean, it's not seamless, but it's pretty darn close. So when you're looking at it from the front, all you've got is just your loop.
Yeah, you know how those like lampwork leaves that are kind of that design with the loop at with the wire at the top.
Yep.
It's reminding me of that. I love that you've been able to like make that out of whatever you want.
Yep. So we've got it on these. Is it okay if I show the button that was in the mystery box?
Yeah, you can go ahead. We're doing our full unveil like tomorrow in the group, but today is like day 7, so you're allowed, Sarah.
Okay, so I want to show you because the shank on this one is different, right? But I want to show you that it works the same way. So this one is a little bit different because not only is it glass, so it's part of the, it's just all one solid piece, but notice how it's shaped. So it's tapered. So when you're doing your wire wrapping, you have to make the decision. Either you want to secure that wire wrap around the largest part of the taper or up here at the smallest part of the taper. And when you do that, it's going to create some space. So your wire wraps are not going to be sitting flat up against that button if you do your wire wrap around the thinnest part of the taper. Does that make sense at all?
A very visual person, Sarah.
Okay, so well, let's just do it then. We'll just grab a piece of wire and do it. I was really trying to not show the front of this button, Sam.
No, it's one item in a 14 item box. We'll live.
Okay.
We'll experience one item with you today.
All right. So now this one, it might be a little bit more tricky, but we're going to make it work. So taking the wire just the same way. Okay. We're going to take the wires, bring them up here to the top and crisscross just like we would if we were doing a briolette. Okay. One wire stays up to the top, the other one wraps around. So this is what I'm talking about. If you want to wrap around the largest part of the shank, you're going to be wrapping really close to the back of the button. Or you can keep it up here around the smallest section, right? The top of the taper is the smallest distance around, right?
And is that what you prefer?
You know, I don't think it really makes much of a difference. However, because the way that this button is kind of shaped like a bowl on the back, it might actually be beneficial to keep your wire wrap up here at the top taper, because then you're going to give yourself the room that you need to accommodate those wire wraps. So they're going to be more in the bowl part of the wire design, or whatever you want to say. So I'm going to do the wire wrapping. Don't laugh at me. You hush over there. Words are hard, okay? I was doing good up until then. It's funny because sometimes I hear myself speak and I'm like, who is this person and how does she know these things? Like... Where did this information come from? Must have come from the download last night. I don't know. All right. So I'm going to straighten up these wire wraps for starters because they're a little messy. But now I've got to get in there, right? I got to get in there and squeeze up against, this has come away from the shank. I think I did my wire wraps too tight.
You stole the wire away.
I did. Okay, let's see here.
Kathy.
Yes.
Do you think the leaves would work in your peyote stitch bracelets?
Okay, that didn't work out too good.
Let's
try this one again.
Oh, I have to think about that, Sam. I mean, they definitely work in looms.
They would work as a clasp, wouldn't they?
You know, they might work as a clasp.
I would really hope they would.
You want to see one up close?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, those would make a really nice clasp.
Yes.
Just like that. That'd be great.
Because I like that it's a little different shape than a typical button clasp is.
Yeah.
A little more like natural flow to it, which is why I fell in love with it.
Okay, so this one's a little tricky. Not gonna lie, this one's a little bit different. So it might actually do better for us to, instead of working with the shank this direction, maybe to work with the shank this direction.
Okay. Oh, that makes sense.
And you definitely want to be sure that your wire you don't shorten your wire up while you're doing your wraps like I did, because that... I really feel like the wire wrapping part is the most difficult part because you are working in such a small space.
Yeah. I'm so glad you showed how this one, because it is so different, and even showing us where it can get off is really helpful.
Yeah.
I just feel like I've totally I say this every time I'm with you. Every time I watch one of your lives, I always leave feeling like I have at least one nugget of technique or inspiration that I always leave with, no matter what.
Then I am doing my job. That is exactly what I want. All right, so Now we need to squeeze that, but we've got to be careful because it's glass. And so, like you said, this would be tool magic moment, or your nylon jaw pliers would probably be your best bet. I'm going to grab mine.
That's a good idea. And
you just want to squeeze, but you've got to be careful. And when you squeeze, obviously you're gonna elongate the wire too. So just keep all of that in mind.
Very secure though.
It's a little wiggly.
Okay.
It's just a different shaped shank. So you just got to make adjustments for that. I'm trying to be really, really careful because I don't want to mess this button up. Like definitely don't want to crack anything.
Like maybe if you had like, what do you think? Like, would glue work at all?
It actually would. So if you wanted to, because like I said, see that space that's in between there, and that's because the shank is that taper. So it's not going to get super, super secure. If you wanted to, you absolutely could add like a little bit of E6000 between your button and those wire wraps just to hold them in place. I used to be one of those people who like glue is cheating. Glue is cheating, particularly when you're working with wire. Don't use glue. But the thing is that there is jewelry making glue for a reason. And that definitely would be, this definitely would qualify as an opportunity to use glue instead of, looking at it like you're cheating. You could get that. I can squeeze that tight enough. I just don't want to risk it. But basically, it's the exact same technique. It really works the exact same way. You just have to be careful because this one's not tapered, but this one is, right? So it's hard to know. Do you want to wrap that wire around the largest part or the top part up here? And I honestly think that if I had wrapped it around the largest part, I might have been able to get to squeeze it a little bit more and get it a little bit more secure. But works the same way.
So what are you going to do with your leaves, Sarah?
I don't know. What should we do with them? So one of them has, I feel like we need to redo this one because it is like super messy back here on the back. But this one has the opportunity for dangles on both sides, whereas this one, I don't know. Let's just do two different things. Just make two different earrings. Or it could be a focal for whatever,
Ooh, some like asymmetrical earrings.
Ooh. Yeah. I like that idea. I like it. Okay, let's go ahead and should we
So like the one with the loop below is our like higher leaf, yeah?
Or this one is the higher leaf and this one, because we can drop some things down on this one. Right? We could, let's see here. I pulled out some of these from the
those look those look familiar.
They were in the mystery. I'm just giving away the mystery. I'm so sorry. I feel really bad. It's no longer a mystery.
That's okay. That was from the mixed brand pack. Everyone has a different one, so it's okay. No one has the same thing.
Okay. So let's see. I feel like it needs something, but maybe I'll wrap around with my wire here. So I'm going to do a wrapped loop, and then if I have leftover wire, I might wrap it around that top bead.
Your leftover inch. Sarah will make it work.
I'll make it work. I don't know. It just felt like it needed like something. A little something.
A little Sarah spice.
Yeah, a little spice. It's because I needed like a spacer here, and I didn't have one. So, and I don't have a whole lot of copper stuff to work with. So we're improvising.
Pretty.
Okay. So we're gonna have to eat. We even have to make our own ear wires for this. Like I got to do all the things. I got to do all the things. Put a drop on that. Like this is getting crazy texturally. Words are hard. I don't know. Should I put a no, because that needs to go somewhere else. I don't know. What should we do, Sam?
I didn't mind the flower below the leaf.
That's just an awkward placement of a leaf. A flower, but
below a leaf. There's a little like crystally dingle or something there.
But I don't know. I feel like this needs something. Okay, hold on.
The gears are turning. I can see the gears clicking forward in Sam's brain.
Needs chain.
Ooh.
Needs chain.
Needs chain.
Needs chain. Oh. Okay. So I gotta find the end of the chain first. There it is.
Story of my life.
And I don't know if this is soldered chain or it's not. Okay. So I'm actually going to open up this teeny beeny little link. Thread that on. Whoops. Close that back.
My best friend.
Don't do that. It makes me jump.
What's Kathy saying?
She's telling him not to bark because it scares her. Makes her jump every time.
Oh, Kathy.
I need a hug now.
Now she needs a hug.
Ooh, make a little tassel.
Yeah.
Ooh, all sorts of fun. We had a question that was interesting. Hey, Sarah, could you herringbone the back of the button? And if you did, would it support the button? Or is that crazy?
That's actually not crazy. I think that is something that needs to be tried because I've never done that, so I can't really say yes or no. But I would definitely be interested in finding out if that is something that would work for sure.
Yeah, especially depending on like the shape of the shank, like almost as like the shape of a button in some cases, maybe.
Yeah. And you know what? With this round button that we were working on, the herringbone might actually be the answer to that because you really would be reinforcing the top and the bottom with those wire wraps. So I'm thinking that's probably a good idea. Like
really interesting. It could be tricky because of the shape of the concave
exactly
of the button, but it's intriguing.
Yeah, definitely. But it definitely would create a nice bit of wire support that would take up a lot of the surface area back here. So I may have to try that and take pictures and let you guys know for sure. Okay, so let's just put a leaf put a flower on this one and let's see.
That chain is so pretty with the buttons. That's very pretty.
Thank you.
Because I think I like it because it also has like the natural like waviness.
Yeah.
You're kind of keeping that theme going of the natural elements, which is really nice.
Yeah. I love the way you look at things. I like to hear your gears turning. That's so fun.
Well, it's the thing like Rachel and I have to think about a lot more in putting together the boxes. We're like, we were putting together, we would work on like the April box, and like certain items weren't feeling right, and we're realizing like, oh, it's because like the elements are like literally at play with each other.
Yeah.
They're not both natural elements. They're not both sharp elements. So we had to give some beads the nix because of that one. We have like full-on negotiations, Sarah, about and like we literally we present beads to each other and like make arguments for them. We're like, I really think this one should be involved in the box because I think it goes not well with this. It fits in the color palette in this way. Like we literally go through every single bead.
That's awesome. I love that you all pay that much attention to detail though. And I think that it shows. You know, I think that as a designer, when I open the box of beads, I can see all of that, you know, because you're thinking of it not just from a color standpoint, but you're thinking of texture. You're thinking of how the beads work together. You're thinking of, you know, the size and the spacing, and all of those things are important when you're designing with the beads that you're putting together. So it's appreciated that you are looking at it from, you know, and trying to convince each other. You have to plead your case with each other, make a convincing argument. All right, so we have our little earrings. They're mismatched. Let's make the ear wires to go with them. That's fun, right? That's different. I mean, mismatched earrings are always in style. They might not be for everybody, but you know.
Right. I thought and they also could be the same length, like if you wanted them to be. Like there's no reason.
Absolutely. For sure. For sure. Okay, so let's make an ear wire because I don't have any copper ear wires. So we're gonna do that.
So you want to try stopping your video for a second, turning it back on? It got a little like fuzzy.
Okay.
I don't know if it actually did, but you know, turn it off, turn it back on.
Okay. Better?
We'll see.
We'll see. Maybe, maybe not.
Oh yeah. Actually heck yeah. I'm so glad folks pointed that out.
Good. All right, so I'm going to make my ear wires. I'm going to use the stepped bell making pliers, but you can use just a combination of the small and large bell making pliers if you don't have these. And if you don't have any of those, you can just use some things that you find, right? I mean, you can use skewers, you can use a pencil, like just use Sharpie, what you got.
I think, I've seen a Sharpie.
Yeah, a Sharpie will definitely work. All right, so I'm going to use the smallest part here to make my first loop. So I'm just going to turn a loop just like that. Then I'm going to use the largest part of the tool, and I want to sit that loop right up against the tool. So there's no wiggle room there. It's sitting as close as it possibly can. And I'm going to guide the wire around the large barrel here. And then I'm going to take that off. So we have this funny little shepherd's hook.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to trim. And I always cut where that loop is sitting right up against the tool, so that every single time when I cut, every ear wire is the same length. So I let the tool measure.
I was today years old when I figured out that that's how you can keep them even.
All right, so I cut it. Okay, and it looks terrible at the moment, but we're going to make it look like an ear wire. So we're going to come in with our pliers, and we're going to give it a little bend right there at the end, and then we're going to open it up. And we have an ear wire, but we've got to work harden it, and we need to file the end here because you don't want to put that in your ear until you do that. So I'm actually going to go ahead and make the second one first so that we can have both of them, and we'll just work harden them at the same time.
Nice.
There will be hammering.
There will be hammering.
Sarah, would you stop your video just once more? We had like a beautiful 2 minutes of smooth video.
Oh, okay, yeah, hold on.
Oh, it's amazing how that works.
That's weird. That's so weird. Okay, so there's our little loop.
StreamYard just can't handle us, Sarah.
No, it can't. It's just because there's so much awesomeness happening at once.
That's what it
totally
is.
loses its mind. Okay, so again, place that right up against so that I know it's the same size as the other one. And
the dogs have me surrounded. I'm like, seriously? I
Wanda blames the clown downstairs. There's more than one down there. I'm just saying. All right, so there are your wires.
How many clowns?
Well, there's several.
I would be terrified. I wouldn't be able to go into that room at night.
Well, are there more clowns than Christmas trees? Yes, I think there are more clowns than Christmas trees.
That's impressive.
And right now, all my Christmas trees and all of my Halloween decorations are all downstairs because I have to pack the attic, and that's what we did this weekend. So all of the things from the attic are downstairs at the moment. It's chaos here. I'm just saying. A little bit.
But it's very progressive looking.
Valerie said, do you ever make them at the same time by folding the wire in half and then cut it apart at the end?
You absolutely can. I feel like I have more control if I do one at a time, but there's no reason why you can't do it that way.
Especially on the step bale making pliers, like because it's staying the same shape throughout. I feel like it's nicer on that.
All right, so let's work hard in these really quickly, and then we'll sand the ends. So I'm just going to put these down on my steel block, and I just want to tap them with my nylon hammer. This just makes sure that I can keep that shape.
Do you kind of think the nylon and like a leather type hammer accomplish a similar thing in this case?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, a leather or a rawhide mallet, a rubber mallet will work as well.
Okay.
And if you don't have one of these, if you will take your regular chasing hammer, you can put something over the top of this. You know, you can put like a thin layer of, even just a really thin layer of cotton.
Yeah.
Just to keep it from flattening the wire, because all you're wanting to do is just wake up those little molecules that are in the wire. That's what helps to make the work hardening happen. So it really is less to do about the materials that you're using as the actual hammering of it.
Wait, that's that's a really creative idea. Just like a little piece of cloth, a rubber band. Okay, I'm trying that.
Oh yeah. Felt, you know, if you have like a felt scrap or any kind of fabric scraps will definitely work. All right, so we've work hardened these, and now we're going to sand the ends. You can use an emery board or you can use a metal file. I use my bead reamer with the attachment that is the wire rounder tip, and I sent one of these to Sam.
I have one. I'm so excited.
So you just want to put the end of your wire in that little cup, and then you just push the button and you kind of rotate it with your hands as well, so it's spinning really, really fast.
It's like so satisfying, but I'm also uncomfortable. Like the sound.
It's very dentist room-ish.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like you're at the dentist for sure.
Oh no, that's what it is. Oh no.
But you definitely want to do this. You don't ever want to make your own ear wires without sanding the ends. Even if you wipe them off with a cloth, there still can be little microscopic shards, you know, jaggedy edges of that metal. And that is a one-way ticket to piercing infection. So you definitely want to be sure that you sand it off, and then you definitely want to wipe it down. If I'm going to give it to customers, I'll use like a cotton ball and I'll wipe it with alcohol just to be sure that I clean off all of those little metal shards. Yeah. With myself, I'm not nearly as careful, but with other people, I am.
How
right, and then
replace the burr cup on that?
Do what?
How often do you have to replace the burr?
So it really kind of just depends on how often you use it. If you're using it every day to make ear wires, you probably want to replace it in about 6 to maybe 9 months. I would say a year at the most. If you don't use it very often, you can probably get away with it for about 2 years. But there are different sizes of this little attachment, and the one that I have is for 20 gauge wire, but it will also accommodate like 22 gauge wire. There's a bigger one, and I think there's a smaller one. I really, I use the 20 because it's kind of like one size fits all for me. But that makes a difference as well. So if you're going to be changing it out and using different sizes, then obviously it doesn't get used nearly as much. You can prolong the life.
20, and what's the other option?
So let me look before I tell you for sure. So there's the 20 gauge option, and then let's see, wire.
Thicker gauge options. Is that where the direction it goes?
So you can get the little tips come in 3 different sizes. So there's the 12 and 14 gauge.
Whoa. Okay.
There's a 16 and 18 gauge.
Yeah.
And then there's the 20 gauge. So the 20 gauge is the smallest. This is going to accommodate 20 gauge and anything smaller.
Okay.
And then the same goes for the others. So the 16 and the 18, you're going to be able to use it with 16, 18, and probably 20, but it might be a little bit too big for 22 and smaller. Okay. The 12 and the 14 obviously is pretty big and chunky, and it's just too roomy to use, on smaller gauge wire. So that's why I picked this one, because it really will accommodate a lot. Now, if you're going to use 18 gauge wire, you obviously need to go bigger, but for everyday wire, this one works.
Wanda says you replace the Burr cup when you lose it.
That is correct, Wanda. That is correct.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's too funny. I'm going to turn you guys around. I do see a question though, Sam. You wanna take that one?
Melissa's question.
Let's see.
From that Nicole posted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like it. So Melissa Hughes said, totally off topic, not totally off topic. But I wanted to say, okay, can you please do a small business Q&A? I have like 5 questions for you two about jewelry and bead business stuff. Is that the question you want me to read?
Yeah. So remember, it's been a while since we did it, but you and I did a question and answer once before, and people really, really loved that. So I would love to do that again. I'm all for that.
I think it's a great idea. I don't remember what we talked about last time, but I remember
it's been a while.
We touched upon a lot of things, so we could do it more like
there's that one.
Okay, we've got earring 1. Oh, that's my star winner. That's my star.
So pretty.
That's also
and you can see they hang exactly the way you want them to.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah.
It's hanging instead of like this.
And that's such a good use for chain, good use for scrap chain.
So
your little scraps. Yeah. Oh, that's great. I want to go make jewelry right now.
Go get all the buttons that you have.
I know, literally. I have to go pick out button colors for tonight. Yeah, I think I would love to do another Q&A with you.
Yeah, for sure.
It'd be helpful if we can figure out in your group what are the topics would be the most helpful.
Oh yeah. So we can do like a we'll do a survey first. Thank you. Yeah. And then kind of gather up some questions, because I'm sure people will have more of the same. Like usually the questions when it comes to business and stuff are usually there's usually 5 questions that everybody asks. And then some other ones. So we'll do that. Let's wait though. I close on my new house next week. And so I'm going to be moving immediately. So we'll have to wait until after I get settled, but we can definitely plan something for April if you want to, and do a question and answer. I think that would be wonderful. I want to go back and watch the one that we did before to see what we talked about.
I know it's touched upon pricing.
Yeah, a little bit.
But there's all sorts of things I'm sure Sarah and I could rattle on about. I know a silly amount about mundane things like shipping.
Yeah.
And I don't even know. Setting up websites, like all those sorts of things, which are really like can be like hard, but actually aren't too tricky.
Yeah.
So that's a great idea. And congratulations on the move, Sarah.
Thank you. I'm excited. It means I will be away for a little bit, just to move and get settled. But I feel like once I do get settled, I just have this inner voice that's telling me things are going to be so good. Like, because for the past few months, since I've been focused on buying a house and all of the things that go with buying a house, it's really hard for me to concentrate and like to come up with designs and to stay in work mode. I'm very much distracted. So I'm looking forward to being able to be settled again and grounded again so that I can really like do my best. Because I feel like I've just been kind of going through the motions and like trying, but
I mean, that might be like focus. I'm sure like that's exactly how it feels.
Yeah.
On your end. I've been watching and like I've been very impressed by like the inspiration and goodness you've been putting out.
Thank you.
Lately. So we're just excited to see what's next.
I know, me too. I'm looking forward to it. Hey, and I posted earlier, if anybody knows any, refrigerator shaped gentlemen, any single, I'm just kidding. I mean, I am kidding, but I'm sort of not kidding. I need to get moved first.
Yeah, I was looking up how much a plane ticket to Knoxville was, and first off, there wasn't an airport like right there, and I was like, oh god dang it. And then I was like, why is it $500? Because how else am I going to be Sarah's wingman? Anyway.
Well, okay, so Sam, here's what I'm thinking. Just personal note here, because you've asked me twice to move to California. The one way to get me there, would be to perhaps find me a refrigerator-shaped gentleman that lives in California. I mean, that would be a great draw too. I'm just saying. It doesn't have to be refrigerator-shaped. I just like a big, meaty man, But but I'm not picky.
Right.
I think you should be though.
I am. I'm totally picky. I can't help it.
This is my favorite ever, and I would like to talk about this for another hour, but we should probably
We should go. I know.
No, Sarah's talking about my dream that I've put out into the universe. Wanda calls it that we've planted the seed that one day I would love if Sarah. I mean, regardless of where Sam's Beach Shop even is, like,
right?
Because I'm like, I don't need Sam's Beach Shop doesn't have to be in California forever,
right?
It would be amazing. I would love to.
Pretty.
Knoxville is very pretty, and I don't.
Sarah's here.
I'm here. Kathy's here. Colleen's here.
I've also been like my friends always talk about like upstate New York, like in the middle of nowhere, and I'm like, oh, that sounds great.
That does sound magical. So like one of my dream locations, though it's not New York, but is within the realm of that, is like coastal Maine. I'd be one happy, gray, gloomy skies and rain and rocky beaches. Oh, I'm so there.
I would be very cold.
Yes, you would.
It was 55 degrees yesterday and I was freezing. So business Q&A to come tonight. I hope I get to see many of you for our live Bead Shop. That's 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Do the math if you're in the middle. On the Sam's Bead Shop page. So definitely come hang with us. We like to have a fun time. And then don't forget that Sarah has Feel Good Friday on Friday with kits coming. So you still have kits with the moves? You still have kits on Friday?
So I will have kits this Friday, and I will have a pre-sale, hopefully, fingers crossed, of a kit that is a collaboration with Nile. I'm hoping to start pre-sale on Friday. I don't know if it's going to happen, but that's what the goal is. But then next week, I don't know that there will be kits next week. It just kind of depends on how things work out. But I'm gonna do my best to be here as much as I possibly can. But I will have to take a little bit of time off. But
that is understandable.
Yeah.
We will miss you and look forward to your return.
Oh yes, I'm looking forward to it myself. So everybody, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Sam. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sending these awesome beads. This was so much fun, and I hope that everybody's inspired.
Sorry, go ahead.
Hey,
I just hope that I inspired everybody with the buttons because there's so many possibilities.
Oh yeah, I think you have. I want to say you that was like an older Sarah technique, and I think was very new for me and a lot of people watching. So I'm so glad you did that today.
Yeah.
Jacqueline says, "Are you on 4:30?" Yeah, you're hardwired today.
Yeah, hardwired group will be on at 4:30. We've got a fun project. I'll give you a little sneak peek of what our hardwired project is. So we're doing a wire wrapped pendant.
Wait, that's like perfect for St. Patty's Day.
Yeah, you could do this green for St. Patrick's. Like this, there are so many options with this. This one little pendant you could use in so many different ways. So
a little green onyx in the middle of it, or I don't know, something. That'd be lovely.
Yeah,
fancy St. Patty's. Oh, that's a great design.
Awesome, thank you. All right, it's time for lunch, so I'm going. Sam, you have an amazing rest of your afternoon.
Thank you.
And I will see Hardwired at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time, guys. And if I don't see you there, I'll see you on Friday, 1 p.m. with our Feel Good Friday show.
Yay!
Yay! All right, everybody, bye.
Bye, everyone. This was so much fun.